Snow drifted across the empty town square like tiny shards of glass, cold and glittering beneath the trembling glow of Christmas lights. The wind carried a hollow whistle through the decorated trees, scattering tinsel and forgotten ribbons across the dark pavement. It was Christmas night, the kind meant for warmth, family, and laughter. But for one woman sitting alone on a frosted bench, clutching a bundled infant, the world felt unbearably quiet. Harper Crane's fingers trembled as she tried to keep her two daughters close beside her, their small boots leaving shaky prints in the thick snow. Her breath came out in clouds as she fought the overwhelming fear that tonight might be the night everything finally broke. She had no home left, no money, and nowhere to take her children. And yet she forced herself to stay upright, holding her baby and whispering silent prayers into the frozen air, hoping somehow that Christmas still had room for miracles. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in helping those who are struggling, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. And as always, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your presence means the world to this community. As Harper tried to steady her breathing, her daughters, June and Marlo, leaned against her sides, their cheeks flushed pink from the icy wind. June tugged gently at her mother's coat, asking in a whisper if Santa forgot them this year. Harper swallowed hard, blinking back tears before they could fall. She didn't want her children to feel the fear she carried inside, that suffocating dread of uncertainty. But the truth was that she had run out of every plan she once had. After her husband Oliver passed away unexpectedly 8 months earlier, life had become one long series of losses. Bills piled up faster than she could work. Her part-time job disappeared when the store closed. The landlord showed no mercy, and when the final eviction came 2 days before Christmas, she packed what she could into an old stroller and walked aimlessly, hoping the cold wouldn't sink too deep into her children's bones. Across the snowy lot, parked beneath a flickering lamppost, a maroon pickup truck idled softly. A man stepped out, his boots crunching heavily in the snow. He wore a Navy uniform and carried the weight of someone who had been through storms most people never see. His name was Calder Briggs, a former Navy SEAL who had returned to his hometown only a week ago after years of service overseas. He came back hoping to find a piece of himself again, but instead found a quiet loneliness shadowing every familiar street. His service dog, a German shepherd named Arrow, walked faithfully by his side, alert and watchful. Calder had been driving through town, letting memories guide him when he saw the silhouette on the bench. Something about the way the woman hunched forward, the way the two little girls pressed against her, and the faint movement of a baby in her arms made him slow the truck. At first he hesitated. People had their lives, their walls, their boundaries. But then he noticed the tremble in her shoulders, the way her coat wasn't enough for the bitter cold, and how the children's hats were pulled down, almost covering their eyes to protect them from the wind. Something stirred inside him, a deep, persistent pull he couldn't ignore. He approached slowly, Arrow remaining by his side, sensing the tension and sadness in the air. Harper looked up the moment she sensed footsteps, her eyes cautious, wide, tired. Calder could see the fear there, the uncertainty, but he also saw strength, something quiet but enduring in the way she held her children. Their gazes met, and in that instant the world seemed to pause, the falling snow blurring everything except this moment where two broken paths unexpectedly crossed. Calder didn't speak right away. He noticed how June's small hand tightened around Harper's sleeve, how Marlo pressed closer, and how the baby stirred, letting out a soft cry that pierced through the cold night. Harper tried to soothe the infant, whispering apologies, though it wasn't her fault. Calder felt something twist inside him, an ache he hadn't felt since losing several teammates in deployment. He had promised himself he would never stand by when someone needed help. And now here he was, watching a mother fight a battle she shouldn't have to fight alone. He kneeled down so he wouldn't tower over the girls, letting Arrow sit beside him. The dog's calm presence brought a small moment of ease to Harper's frightened daughters. Calder's voice, when he finally spoke, was gentle, steady, and warm in the frigid air. He asked if she was okay, though he already knew the answer. Harper tried to say she was fine, but the crack in her voice betrayed the truth she'd been trying to hide for months. She admitted in a quiet, embarrassed tone that they had nowhere left to go. She apologized again and again, as if her suffering was something she owed the world an explanation for. Calder felt anger, not at her, but at a life that could be so unforgiving. He reached out his hand, not forceful, not demanding, just offering, a gesture of compassion, of understanding. Snow gathered lightly on his sleeve as he held his hand out toward her. His voice was low but firm, filled with the sincerity of someone who meant every syllable. He told her she didn't need to apologize for surviving, and that no mother should be out here like this on Christmas night. Then, with a resolve that felt both instinctive and inevitable, he said the words that changed everything. "Come with me." Harper hesitated, trembling for more than just the cold. Trust didn't come easily anymore. Loss had carved deep places inside her, and every decision felt like stepping on thin ice. But when she looked at her daughters, exhausted, shivering, clinging to hope, they gave her a small nod, a silent plea. And when she looked back at Calder, she didn't see pity. She saw sincerity, steadiness, and a sense of protection she hadn't felt in months. She placed her hand in his. It was cold, fragile, but filled with an unspoken belief that maybe, just maybe, this was the turning point she had been praying for. Calder guided them to his warm truck, helping the children get inside, brushing snow gently from their coats. Arrow hopped in last, settling at their feet like a guardian. Calder drove them not just somewhere warm, but to a place where the lights glowed brighter, the walls felt safe, and the air no longer stung with fear. He gave them blankets, food, and space to breathe again. For the first time in months, Harper felt the crushing weight of survival lift, even if only slightly. Before we continue to the emotional ending, if this story has touched your heart so far, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps bring more stories of hope to life. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, cautiously, Harper and her children began to heal. Calder didn't overwhelm them with kindness. He offered it gently, consistently. He fixed the girls' broken boots, helped Harper find steady work, and made sure the baby had everything he needed. Harper began smiling again, not the forced kind, but real ones that reached her eyes. Calder found himself healing too, discovering purpose in helping a family rediscover stability and hope. Christmas night had brought them together in darkness, but it also lit a path made of compassion, strength, and new beginnings. Before the story closes, please comment below and tell us which moment moved you the most. By spring, the snow melted into soft green grass, the air warmer, the sky brighter. Harper watched her children playing with Arrow in Calder's yard and felt something bloom inside her, a feeling she thought she lost forever. Gratitude, safety, and perhaps the first quiet spark of love. Calder stood beside her, hands in his pockets, watching the children with a soft smile. They didn't speak, but they didn't have to. Some miracles arrive softly without fanfare. Some families are found in the most unexpected moments. And sometimes a single act of kindness on Christmas night becomes the beginning of a lifetime of healing, hope, and heart.